Cybergrind burger. If you are on Cybergrind Twitter between early 2022 and late 2023, there's a chance you might have seen a couple of tweets about it. People were talking about what's in a Cybergrind burger, going to McDonald's and ordering one and seeing what happened. But what greatly disappoints me is not one of you fucks ever tried to actually make one. So we're gonna fix that today. When I think of Cybergrind and food, I think of two things: Doritos and Monster Energy drink. I also think of the colors green and purple. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a Doritos infused burger patty topped with a green Monster Energy drink based barbecue sauce and pickled purple cabbage. Last but not least, I'm thinking this monstrosity needs something other than a regular old hamburger bun, so I'm going to attempt to make donut buns. Enough talking, let's fucking get it. First up, the monster sauce. I started by chopping up a small piece of ginger, 3 cloves of garlic, half a white onion, half a pack of sweet yellow cherry tomatoes. I wanted to use green tomatillos, but they didn't have any, so I made do, and 1 entire jalapeno pepper. Then, I brought a saucepan to medium heat with a little olive oil on the bottom. I threw the garlic, ginger, and onions in, and as soon as a random white person broke into my house and said, "Damn, that smells good, what are you cooking?" I added in a spice mix. I used a blend of traditional ketchup spices like allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, plus a teaspoon each of celery salt, mustard powder, ground pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder to push it into barbecue sauce territory. I stirred that shit together, and as soon as the onions started to get a little color, I added in the tomatoes and jalapeno, plus a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of white vinegar, and a splash of Worcestershire. A little more stirring, and then I added in an entire can of Mango Loco Monster Energy drink. I used Mango Loco instead of the classic green because I thought the mango flavor would blend more nicely with the other ingredients, and spoiler alert, I was correct. I cooked that shit down to a stew-like consistency and gave it a taste test, and it was nice and spicy, but a little lacking in sugar, so I threw in a little extra brown sugar. I dumped it into a blender, blended it until it was smooth, and added in some green food coloring to get the color just right. Then, I chucked it in the fridge and called it a day. Next up was the pickled red cabbage. I started by throwing 2 cups of water in a pot along with 2 cups of white vinegar and 3 tablespoons of salt. I prepped a spice mix of a hearty amount of fresh ground black pepper and 1 teaspoon of mustard powder. Then, I chopped up enough red cabbage strips to fill a mason jar and added in some fresh cilantro. I put my pot on the stove, turned on the heat, added my spice mix and 2 smashed cloves of garlic, and brought the whole thing to a boil. The moment my mixture started boiling, I poured it into the mason jar over the cabbage and cilantro. All that was left to do was let it sit until it reached room temperature, then close it up and stick it in the fridge. I tried some on its own, and honestly, it was delicious. Really lovely blend of flavors. Last but not least, the donut buns. I decided to base them on a sour cream donut recipe since those are denser and thicker than regular donuts, and I figured they'd hold up better for burger bun purposes. First step here was to whisk together 2 tablespoons of butter and a half cup of brown sugar until it reached a pasty consistency. Then, I added in 3 egg yolks and a 1/4 cup of whole milk. I whisked that together, then started alternatingly adding in small amounts of sour cream and cake flour mix with salt and baking powder already blended in. Once I'd added in the full 2.5 cups of flour and a whole container of sour cream, I ended up with a monstrous ball of dough about half the size of Redon's left nut. I chucked it in a greased bowl and shoved it in the fridge for an hour. Then, I pulled it out, threw it on a floured surface, pressed it out until it was a little more than a ½ inch thick, and cut it into little circles. Finally, I threw those little bastards in a pot of hot oil and fried them until both sides were a nice golden brown. I ended up making a few too many, so my girlfriend and I had a couple with jam on them, and they were delicious. Great texture, not too sweet, just right. 2 days passed, and it was finally time to make the finished burgers. I started by crushing a bag of Doritos and blending them with a pack of ground beef, along with 2 egg yolks. I was able to make 7 balls with them. Then, I cut the donut buns in half and toasted each of them in a pan with some hot butter. Always remember to toast your buns. The sauce was a little spicy on its own, so I mixed in some mayo to get it a little closer to burger sauce territory. Then I cooked up the burgers, and they were smelling pretty amazing. Assembly time. Lay out your toasted buns, spoon a little bit of sauce on each side, then place your burger, throw a little cabbage on top, and, in the immortal words of Joshua Weissman, crown your king. I prepared 6 burgers, got the buddies assembled, and it was time to eat.
Alright guys, the Cybergrind burgers are fully constructed. We're gonna eat this shit and tell you what it tastes like. Let's go.
Oh fuck, this is a lot.
3, 2, 1, go.
It's kind of fucked up how decent this is, honestly.
Yeah, like I don't want to admit it, but it's like a 7 out of 10.
I'll take that.
It's like really good, but also really unsettling because like a few things in there doesn't fit, but fit somehow.
That's what Cybercrime is all about. It's Doritos and things that don't fit together.
Yeah. Things that don't fit together coming into perfect harmony.
I just do feel like that maybe the patty could use maybe a little less of the Doritos.
Yeah, I did kind of cram them in there. There's like almost a full bag in there.
Do you ever craving Doritos and a donut and a Monster?
We got you covered.
I apologize for my Mexican ancestors, by the way.
The sauce is decent. You can't say the sauce isn't decent.
You know, the more I dig into this, the more I'm just like, this is actually pretty alright.
When I felt first pitched the idea to me, I was like, this is gonna be really funny and really gross, but it's actually good.
I'm like torn because like, if there was like maybe a little less Doritos, I'd probably go for an 8, but for now I think a 7.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I would rank it. I'm really digging this. I'm thinking this is like a solid 8 out of 10. For
Yeah?
me. Yeah. But like, I mean, I eat trash food all the time. So.
I go with less Doritos, more sauce.
Plus Doritos, more sauce. That's a cool verdict because I think the sauce was the thing that was freaking people out the most initially.
Yeah, no, the sauce is actually good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Monster sponsor us.
Yeah, please.
It's not bad one to accept.
Also, the first one I finished it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that, honestly. I would do that again.
You know, honestly, even like the donut buns, I'm like, they're not like standing out in a way where it's like too sweet or too anything negative at all. It's like this actually blends well.
Is this like just like white people food? Or?
Yes. That is not the question we're asking here, you know? Like, that is very you're putting like a donut with a Dorito burger and Monster Energy sauce. Like, it doesn't get wider than that.
You're so right.
Like-
You're so right.
Like, just fucking, wash it down with a white claw at this point.
No, we're fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon instead.
I mean, the same thing. It's just not the white girl equivalent, Like,
I know what I'm gonna wash this down.
oh my god!
Yeah, one more.
Do you want it? We're getting the roommate verdict here.
Like that one, yeah. I don't know what I'm eating. I mean, it's good. Yeah, we need more sauce in there.
More sauce?
Yeah, there's more sauce right there.
Add some more sauce.
It's not even spicy. Oh yeah. Yeah, what's better? It's decent.
Awesome. I'll take that. Alright everyone, thanks for watching Cybergrind.
Cybergrind.
Cybergrind forever.
Whoa.